Good morning. It is Saturday, October 15th, 2022. My name is Barbara With, and you are here with me and the Party of 12, which is a really kind of wacky group of souls working in the afterlife for world peace, headed up by none other than Albert Einstein. And today we're going to be taking a deep dive into mystery. Because here in the party, with Einstein's maps of human consciousness and unified field theory, we understand that at the root of everything, it's a mystery. And we just don't know. And we will never know due to the nature of that void. But what does that mean practically? How do we handle the mysteries in our life practically? So that's what we're going to be looking into today, and the Psychic Sorority will be here. So thank you. I'm glad you're here, and welcome to the party. I got to thinking about this week about mystery. Of course, I looked up mystery, and the definitions: anything that arouses curiosity because it's unexplained, inexplicable, or secret, or the quality or air of being unexplained, secret, or unknown. But also in theology, a religious truth revealed through Christ to the elect, which the example is, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God. Among some ancient Mediterranean peoples, any of certain cults and secret rites to which only initiates were admitted. And of course, made me think mystery schools. Right, exactly what I thought. I thought about the mystery schools. But then I was thinking about Diaries of a Psychic Sorority. And when we were doing what we called the 6 master sessions, this was the fourth master session. It was called Commitment. And as I was channeling it and listening to it, as I did often back during these days of just going, wow, what? And so commitment became about committing to the mystery. And I want to just read some because it's probably pertinent to what we're talking about. Sometimes you're taxed by impatience because something isn't moving fast enough. Perhaps you're weighed down with the burdens of struggling for a financial footing, or you have questions about your partner. Every moment you can make a decision to be committed to that moment. What that takes is to accept the mystery within the moment. It sounds like a broad generalization, but it's not so. It's a simple process you can do when you are faced with a difficult or painful challenge. You doubt yourself, or you crawl into bed and pull your covers up and wonder why these things are happening to you. You wonder who you are. You wonder what you're doing. You wonder how you're going to make it through this moment. What you need to do is make the commitment to be in the moment and accept that mystery that you will not know exactly what the plan is. You're so small in your perceptions because you're humans, not because you're not good enough or you're missing something within you that doesn't allow you to unravel the big mystery and completely understand it. It is simply that you are human at this time. You cannot deny this. And so for us, it's like talking to children. Children are not bad because they don't understand the great mysteries of adulthood. They simply are in that place, and you honor that place. It's easy to do that with children, but it's so difficult to do it for yourself. In that moment, make the commitment to accept the mystery. Then you can't say, I'm so worried that I don't know what's going to happen. You say, I don't know what happens. I accept the mystery. I make a commitment to be fully in this moment, not knowing what the next one will bring me or why it's happening. When you remove the need to know why it's happening and where it's all going, you are left with just that moment, and then you embrace it. If it's pain that you feel, you embrace the pain. Somewhere inside you, you know through your many, many experiences on the earth plane that from this pain will come a birth, because pain is a death. You cannot have a birth without a death. It is the basis of your existence. Everything from the master plan of death and birth, from bringing the humans in and then out again, to the small, simple daily births and deaths you go through, the letting go of your childhood type of births and being reborn again, this is all a natural part of your evolution. And when I read that just today.
Is it from Psychic Sorority?
Yes, Diaries of a Psychic Sorority.
Where, what page?
February 11th, Commitment.
Okay.
And then it's just like 3 pages in. It really exemplified where I had gotten to with this idea of how does it all work? You know, is it this? Is it that? Is it this? What did it? It's just like, you don't know. And if at the root, at the source of everything, it's a mystery, this commitment to it is really essential. It's really essential in our evolution. But boy, it's hard to do. It's really hard to do. I found this week that I've been doing a lot of feeling and breathing in small snippets here and there. Oh my gosh, Lynn's here. Hi.
Yes, hi.
I don't know how long you've been waiting there.
Thank you. Thank you. I've just come out of a meeting that ran over. So glad to be here. How is everybody and what's the topic?
We're talking about mystery. I just read a passage out of Diaries of a Psychic Sorority and about committing to the mystery of a moment. And how just getting into pontificating about how difficult it is, especially when we start to pay attention through our witness of ourselves and being able to watch ourselves not be able to commit to the mystery. The mind's going, no, I don't want to let go of that minute. So, yeah.
It is hard to commit to, and being the observer is easy thing to fall away from. You know, it's, so it's a constant reminding, but very beneficial when I do it and with the information that it then gives me about my own behaviors. Yeah.
Debbie, were you going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say you were kind of explaining my life lately, you know, and so that's why this is so significant and very significant because of even a question I have for Einstein, actually. So this is just really weird, but you know, continue on.
Yes, I thought the reference when you were reading that quote from the book about children was great, because there's another part of the Bible that says to become like children, right? To access the kingdom, back to that innocence or that, you know, lack of critiquing everything and being more able to embrace the mystery. And I see that with Olivia. She's 9 now, my granddaughter, but she's right into the magical, mysterious, the unicorns, the fairy dust under the pillow, so she can turn into a mermaid and all that stuff. You know, and then she'll say, you know, Nana doesn't believe in unicorns or fairies or whatever. I said, well, that's, you know, that's okay. We do, kind of thing. So kids are great to observe, as well as, you know, not judge, like it said in your reading there. Not judge their lack of sophistication or whatever you want to call it.
Because they don't understand the great mysteries of the universe.
Well, they probably understand them better. They accept them better.
We have all these voices in our heads that are talking us out of things. Yeah.
Well, and that's the truth. And that's where Jo's role as a grandmother, I've really appreciated, because she's reinforcing that there is mystery, and she's encouraging and supporting. And, you know, it's in those first 5 to 7 years that the indoctrination into the culture and the beliefs of the people around you who are raising you dampen the mystery and the magic and all the things that are such a part of And I just love, yeah, I happen to be privy to how much Jo invites and supports and plays along delightfully, I'd say, as a grandmother. Yep. Yep. So
I was thinking too this week as I was watching myself go through different scenarios that were, triggering me and pulling at me and working them and then not working them. And just this morning, I thought, well, if we do this long enough, no matter how many times we fall out of it, right, in a day where I get wrapped up and now suddenly in my head, I'm, telling somebody something like this instead of being in that mysterious moment about it. It's got to become second nature at some point, doesn't it? Are we just in this phase where we're in and out and in and out of it and in and out until we get to a place where it's like, why do that anymore?
Yeah.
Or is that what they were saying about in Diaries about you're human, get over it. This is how it is. So,
right. Just was going to say that's positive reinforcement.
right.
Yeah. Go ahead, Debbie.
Well, I was just going to say that's how, that's the work. It's almost like, do we, just let go and do the work, or do we, when do we take control and whatever? But that's where the intuition comes in.
I find that as I go through a cycle like that, where I'm not paying attention or I'm too much into my head and that emotion and the thoughts are together, every time I get to the place where I can go, oh, just let it go. Let it go. Make conscious efforts to let it go and feel and breathe, I think is a really important piece of that. And it's what I saw a couple of times this week where I could do it. Just go, hey, just let it go. And I take a breath and go, all right, it's done. It's gone. I'm not concerned about it anymore. I don't care what happens in that situation. I'm going to focus over here and breathe, breathe, breathe. Instantly, there's relief. And then there's a shift in that situation too, in some fashion.
What I think is interesting is exactly what you just explained, because when you focus and focus and focus and want to make things happen and imagine it and work a lot with it, and then when you finally think, no, it will not happen, or maybe it will happen, but I let it go and I relax into the fact I have now done everything I can do. I relax inside and just let it go, and this relaxation makes it happen. It's so fantastic. It cannot happen while you are tense. Yeah, I think it's something about binding the energy to ourselves, and when we let it go, then finally, wow, now it's happening. And that's what I think is, I had 2 or 3 small enlightenments some weeks ago, and I just let it go and thought, no, it will be okay. It will be okay. It will be okay. I did everything. It will be okay. And then just like that. And I thought, oh, wow, how much magic is in that? It's fantastic. And it's exactly like you described, Barbara.
I think it's getting out of our heads too, when we can just go with the flow and then, follow that impelling, when we intuit something. Otherwise, if we're just in our head, we're not going to get those messages and that impelling. Let it go and go with the flow. My new bumper sticker.
And being able to get out of our heads leaves that space to hear from the intuitive. And I swear, when I was going through this conflict I'd mentioned in our email earlier, the soundbite had to do with control. And so I would go through these patterns where I would catch myself like getting into the kind of little you have control and you're taking control is what, did this and this. And then I'd stop with that soundbite. And then I had to let go. I had to stop, because if that's the soundbite, then what the hell are you doing? Trying to have control of some imaginary person who isn't even standing in front of you. I do think, for me, at least this summer, I have reached a level of evolution and awareness that I used to really dip down into that deeper traumatic place. I think we've talked about this. But I've been able to maintain this very solid inner self-love in a way I don't think I ever have before. And so a lot of the summer was kind of conflictless, where every day I'd wake up and just go, thank you for another day of this amazing life, and have a day. And sure, there was conflicts and ups and downs, but I didn't have to work very hard at conflict resolution in the summer. Not like I am in the fall now. Like, okay, here's some of that scarcity coming up. It's coming out the high season of summer where all the money was made, and going into the dead of winter where nothing happens here. And like, we have a very limited high season as a tourist area. And there's more stuff that happens in the winter, but certainly not the kind of living that you can make in the summer. So that's all right. It's not my, I'm a virtual worker anyway, so it's not that big a deal. But it's the same kind of having to commit to the mystery every time September rolls around for me and things die down here. And it's like, okay, mysteriously, I don't have to know how it's going to get here, but it will be here. It has been here every single year. It's been here. So the support I need.
Yeah, September is always a death month every year. Like everything is coming to an end. You're harvesting things. Things are beautiful and then they're gone. It's the beginning of that. Yeah.
Oh, and from our quote from the book, birth and death and birth, and you can't have one without the other. And it's all this big cycle that goes for the little death and births from, you're rebirthing yourself, to lifetimes and civilizations, apparently.
Yes.
The way things are going now.
Yes, time for a new one.
Apparently.
So the death throes are much more visible now because we're so connected globally, eh?
Right. And weren't you saying that lungs have something to do with the death throw? Or did I read that wrong?
Tissue, no, that's right. The lung tissue itself, a death fright, causes the lung tissue to grow more so that you can breathe better, because kind of catch your breath when you have a death fright. And it's interesting, if it's for yourself, if you fear your own death for some reason, a diagnosis or something or other, you get a lot of little spots on your lungs where there's growth. But if it's for just one other person or a pet, you just get one area. Or if there was a case of a little girl who was afraid 4 little kittens were going to be killed, she got 4 areas on her lung.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Could this malady that you're experiencing, Debbie, be a collective?
I don't relate to those symptoms.
I don't think she has a death fright. She's got the other lung issue.
No, if I died, I'd be fine. I could bring it on, then all this crap is over with. But so no, I do have kind of a death fright for my cat, because they've been sick, but now, as you can see, I'm sorry, I just can't close that door. They're evidently feeling better. So, but no, I was relating to the other symptoms.
Yeah, the other lung issue, which is a scare, fright, feeling stuck, and is accompanied by depression.
Yeah,
that's the bronchi of the bronchi, so you get bronchitis with that one.
Yeah, but like Heike was saying, I totally relate to what you are going through, because I was actually this morning very upset at reading the news globally, and I just started crying. I was just like, I just feel so helpless and hopeless, and yeah, I know we're going through a death and a rebirth and whatnot, but I don't know. It's just, for me, the lungs is like life, and I'm really I'm really in desperation about our lives. myself, I went through it, and globally, we're going through just some really bad crap that, we need
to take care of ourselves. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's right.
Can people develop physical things like that just from being in the collective of it? Even if you're not sitting at home worrying, aware that you're worrying, even if you're going along, and just to be able
Yeah.
to pick up that energy that a lot of the world must feel right now.
Yeah, that's what I feel like I was picking up in my lungs is, this helplessness and hopelessness and of life. And we just worry about what's going to happen in this life.
The collective definitely can all have the same conflicts and do. And they had examples of that in one of the, one of the presentations. How after World War II, so many people got tuberculosis because that's the healing phase of lung cancer. And so many other people got, other things. And so
from a collective sort of.
That might be why the COVID thing was affecting everybody broncally, I just thought of.
Well, that was one of the ways it affected people. Supposedly it affected people. It's whatever your conflict was around it, how you perceived it, how it hit you in the psyche, and then you manifest according to that. So yes, collectively people have, even in family lines, kind of behaviors and perceptions, perspectives that create certain programs in your body to remedy, to help you evolve, to make you stronger and wiser in the end. People don't see illness like that. Some do. Once they've recovered from a serious illness, they see it as a gift and a reason they evolved, their perspective and their bigger view. But a lot of times people are so scared about it, not knowing what their body is doing, that it makes things worse. My recommendation is don't read the news, because you don't even know if it's accurate, for one thing. The media is controlled by certain factors that want you to believe certain things, and fear is the big pandemic, really.
I saw a study once that these guys did. I really have to dig out their names and figure out, but it had to do with them sort of testing even their own vulnerability to social media and to those messages. And they were supposed to be the researchers testing on other people and how much these images or messages swayed someone this way or that way. And they said they found themselves being swayed by the stuff that they're supposed to be sort of sitting back and watching the client do that and finding their own stuff moved. But I think what Einstein used to say, or the angels, whoever they were, is that when you're feeling the collective consciousness, that's like our opportunity to help process a bit of it, right? So maybe the conflict isn't really something that's occupying our minds, but we're breathing and feeling and breathing. And the more that we can, like Joanne said, the more we take care of ourselves in the way that we've been trained to process emotion, to keep it flowing, to self-love it, and you're doing it for the planet. And so that's what I've been trying to do. Like whenever I get pissed off at this person that I'm in, feel that frustration and anger, then I stop and I'm like, okay, I'm going to feel this for the whole planet right now. I'm going to process and release it like a safety valve. And that's all we can do.
And if you do that on the spot, like you do, within a day, say, then it doesn't have to start manifesting in the body. You just take care of the conflict, of the emotion of it, of the unexpectedness of it, whatever. And then the body doesn't have to take it on. And you don't have to get symptoms, or they're minor and they're a day long, or.
Well, for me, I have not watched TV or had one 20 some years. And the fascinating thing is the news gets to me. I mean, major, huge news. I'm standing in the grocery line. People are talking about it. A friend says to me, do you know there was a hurricane, a tsunami or whatever, and so on. And I'll say, oh, that news hadn't gotten to me yet, because some of my friends get very nervous with the fact that I don't know what's every little thing that's going on in the world. And it is amazing how that is not a piece of my existence anymore. And I love the phrase to be informed but not inundated. And that has been a little mantra of mine for probably, I think it's about 10, 15 years ago. Somebody said that, or I read it. I like, Barb, your piece about actually taking the moment when you encounter something that is deeply heartfelt and concerning, that you, would it be transmute it? Would that be one of, you change it into, you're sending out love and, caring for that or the world or whatever. So you have changed it by that inner action. And that's one more ripple in the pond.
So Joanne, I really liked how you said that of doing that, not so not to take it on ourselves. So was that involving the love, and or what was the process of not taking it on yourself, just feeling it and
breathing it in the moment, feeling it and
Yeah.
moving it and breathing? Then it doesn't become an abscess,
And then it's not an abscess.
which
Yeah.
creates
Yeah,
the conflict.
Right. Good. Thank you.
Do you remember the book by Jill Bolte Taylor, My Stroke of Insight?
Yes.
A neuroscientist who in her mid-30s had a stroke and lost half her brain, the intellectual, and she she had her right brain, but not her left brain functioning for a while. I remember reading in there, she was quoting somewhere else, an emotion only stays in your system for 90 seconds. It's coming through, it's going through, if you let it, if you don't keep recycling it. So if you have a strong emotion coming up, that's like maybe 10 deep breaths, maybe 90 seconds and gone. And if it comes back, that's because you haven't let it go. We haven't let it move through. And then the abscess begins, as you say.
Yes, I would concur with my experiments this week of when I would find myself building up to a intellectual, emotional knot, stopping and taking, literally, it wouldn't take but 5. But the retriggering is when it sticks with those messages of the intellect that are taking away all the mystery of it and blocking the flow.
Yeah, and so identifying the triggers is great. So you can just, let that go, reframe it. Thank you, body, don't need to keep. You had a great visual one time in some of the readings where when the mind's running away with things, to just put it off in the corner, a little rocking chair, just let it do its thing way over there, not impact you. I love that little visual.
That if you have this overactive intellect, like we all do at some point, that if I then engage in the work of the trigger, now my intellectual energy is running, but it's not pointing at her and going over and over a story about what she did. It's looking for me, redirects, and then it turns into like a regenerative activity. I find that intellectual pursuit, it's humbling.
Well, we have learned that it's the intellect's job to define things, right? So we redefine them, we reframe them, we reposition them, we take a different perspective. So that's what it's good at. So we use it for that with any luck.
Effort.
Yeah, we change our mind about it.
Well, alrighty. Should we get to ourselves a channel? Let's take some deep breaths and get into the mystery. Feel ourselves deep, deep, deep in the center of the planet. And while we can't go completely into the mystery, we can become from within a blank slate. We can imagine the nothingness, no decision to make, nowhere to go, nothing to do, but just be the I am. That I am depicts the mystery so well. Just I am. We are everything. We are all and we are nothing. And so we will command that only the most divine light shine down upon you at this time, and the greatest good be present here. Mystery is one of our favorite subjects. It's because it's such an exciting prospect to be in the mystery, to be in the unknown, because then who are you any more than anyway? And one of our intentions through our work with you has been to help you reduce the definitions of who you are. Ultimately, to say, I am, is the ultimate statement of mystery. It leaves a silence after I am. There's no movement. There's no unfulfilled needs. There's no incompletions. There's nothing but the vast void that your spirit exists in before it is impelled by creation, impelled by compassion, the fifth fundamental force, to go from absolutely nothing into not just something, but a subset of infinity that's going to allow you to have a human life. And we bring you down into the center of the planet where the source literally exists, and into that void in your imagination, so that you can reconnect past all the thinking that goes on in your head, past all the definitions of your world right now, past all the powerful, beautiful, intuitive messages that exist driving you forward into creation, even past all that primordial soup of your emotion, deep, 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 into your compilation of consciousness. And while you're there, you can imagine then disappearing into the void. When you take a dive like this, you're able to bypass your thinking processes, which are, for the most part, focused on the lens of physical existence. To have that focus on the lens of physical existence is an integral part of having a human experience on Earth, in the lens with the body, all that physicalness. When you can bypass that with your awareness and go deep, deeper, deep into the source, into that compilation of your consciousness, where it's just much like Debbie, you were talking about your dream. It's a buzzing. It's not a thinking process. It's not even emotion at that point. It's just the vibration of potential life teeming in this finite boundary that is going to be your physical world. And the more that you can go there, the more that you can, in essence, help balance out the rest of the operating system. Part of our intention through our work with you has also been that that you become aware of the greater parts of yourself, that you come to learn what your very specific intellect and your very specific emotion and your very specific intuition are doing, saying, moving, feeling, thinking at any given moment. This kind of awareness, stepping outside yourself into your witness, to witness yourself, in many ways helps to accept the mystery. It's a way to help you adapt to the nothingness that actually exists, that you don't think about a lot of the time because you're in your intellect looking in the lens. And why? Why is this important? Because in that place are conditions that exist that you can use right now in the transformation of your own life, in the transformation of the entire human species, which you can see is in need. We've seen this world coming from a long ways away. We've worked for decades to help you come to this place. And we're going to continue to bring your attention to that mysterious place as a way to get you to your power. Because that is the creative process that is going on within you right now, even as you speak. There is a miracle taking place. You're part of it. You are that miracle. And the mystery helps you embrace that bigger truth that your intellect can't understand. Your intellect can't put the pieces together. It doesn't have the capacity. Just like you can't think in your emotional layer. There's no thoughts down there in emotion. It's just energy that's forming into form. This focus today on mystery is about inspiring you to go to it more and more. And you'll find that as you go to it, as you embrace the mystery, use your intellect to redefine things as being mysterious and being okay, you're going to find that you're going to be much more in the world, but not of it. You're going to be able to watch the news in a way that doesn't trap you in a desperate downward spiral. It's a transcendence that can see in that mystery ages and civilizations and eons, and the mystery school that all of you have been to through different lifetimes. The learning from those lifetimes in the mystery school are activating within you today. It was meant to be that way back when you were studying much more medieval times and lifetimes, underground, a danger of death, to learn these mystery structures and processes and the importance of keeping the mystery and protecting the mystery as a sacred thing. And it's part of what's wrong with the world today, is that human beings have indulged themselves into the lens, and all the focus and all the thoughts and feelings and senses and everything is all deduced from crazy things that are happening in the lens. But when you step outside of that and you see this longer view, and you start to accept that, oh, this mysterious, miraculous mystery of this life that I have includes that I was in mystery schools and other lives, and now those things are activating within you. And you're have the opportunity to call upon them. It doesn't mean you will. It doesn't mean they're going to take you over and turn you into some superhero. It means you have access to them if you are going to choose to use them. Part of a trick to do that is, as Joanne was mentioning, that if you see the whole picture of your operating system, you can see intellect is one small integral part of it, but not the overwhelming piece of it that you think it is when you're in it, when you're trapped in the intellect with the emotion fueling all of those thoughts. So sit back and every day, in every way, as much as you can, call upon that knowledge that you have in your DNA, ask to be shown how you can use it for your self-love and therefore the self-love of the world. Adopt a bigger picture of yourself. Even if you can't imagine how it happens, there's a mystery to the fact that these lives are coming up within you. The root of it is this mysterious process that what's more important is that you can access them, that you can have the free will to make these decisions to witness yourself, that you use your free will to listen to those voices of culture and then take those breaths of emotion to move that this is your chosen free will to work in that way, deeper, richer, fuller than most right now. Many, many are doing this. Don't misunderstand. There are mystery schools activating all over the world, and people you will never see or meet who are in the compassionate aura of the earth right now, in protection, in prayer. Use the fear of annihilation to let go. Take it to its final extreme. What if the entire world blew up? We would say that it would reorganize energetically the energetic structure of the earth, which it doesn't have. You don't see the continents, and you don't see the water, and you don't see the strata inside. You see just the energetic structure of it. That's not going to blow up. Things could blow up on the surface. Things could do that, but it doesn't destroy the planet. It destroys the humans, and then you begin again. Death and birth and death and birth. And the more that you can have the courage, like a spiritual warrior who knows that you have come here to do this. And yes, like any warrior, has to go through facing the deepest fears and letting go of life itself to be free, to be detached, to let go, commit to that mystery, take that breath, experience the I am of what you are in any given moment. That alone is more than we could write in a book, and we've tried. The creation of your body, the creation of your life is the biggest miracle that there is. And living in that sacred truth as much as you possibly can. That is our wish and hope to inspire you. That's our intention, to help you live deeply and richly and fully in the I am, especially right now, because you just never know the profound effect that your small drop in that ocean can have. So with all that said, we will open for any questions and conversations you would like to have.
I have a question. What do you recommend? How could we access these former lives easier, or the knowledge of these mystery schools, the knowledge we have gained in other lives? How can we access it easier? I think we make it often a little difficult for ourselves.
Yes, well, there's a few things you can do, and we like to make them sort of fun or amusing in some way. Is that, do imagine yourself a superhero, because you are a creature that's a creature of miracle. The fact that you're even here is the deepest miracle. So when you get up in the morning and you say your prayer of gratitude, thank you for another day of miraculous, mysterious life, and I fully intend to make this the day for the greatest good, then spend a few moments putting on your outfit that reminds you that you are a superhero, that you have these things deep within you, and then ask the rest of the operating system from your humble intellect to show you how this works, to show you where in the course of a day that you can access that knowledge. And it might be something like, so you do that, and you go off and you're at work and things are very busy and there's stress and there's tension and things are going this way and that way. And you get into a particular flummox or a situation that is clearly untenable and not good operations and all those things that are frustrating. Then you pull on that kind of superhero strength, and kind of almost immediately you can at least get a perspective. The I am of your superhero, there's almost a possibility of instantly pushing your vision up to a greater perspective, the longer view, where you've already let go of your own death. Allow that I am to be in your presence. What it does is it helps you to push yourself towards the decisions you need to make to free yourself from such a situation. Whether that mean you get another job, that you move to another place, or it means that you become so transcendent that even walking down the stairs to your car in the morning is a sacred experience. And these are big ideals that we have, that you're going to integrate this. But as you begin to integrate the other lives and they start to come forward in consciousness, so you can feel within yourself this bigger self that maybe never has been in a car before in terms of that life. So you have other personalities that are superheroes inside you. Also, any kind of time you can spend in a meditation and opening up your I am to experiencing conversations, understanding how it works, all of that kind of thing, that will strengthen that as well.
Thank you so much.
Well, I really don't know what my question is. I would be kind of fumbling, but I'll try and just express what I'm feeling. I'm wondering if this is quantum physics, where we get to that point where it's a field of like all infinite possibilities, you know, and all that is. And yet in that void, at the moment of observation, this is the quantum physics, that quantum state collapses and we can make or determine or influence a definite outcome. So, and then from that point, would that be, you know, considered letting it go after that? So like in our homework, in our talks about the manifestation process of intention, using intention. So we kind of like ask the observer, put in our intention at that void time, and then what we intend should occur, but we just let it go. We just stay in that mystery of how it's actually going to happen, but just stay tuned to our intuitions and as to what, you know, decisions to make.
Yes, it's like that, because the observation of it changes it. The creation of the vision of it, what you want to manifest, in other words, is influenced by that quantum field that has collapsed and now is going to reconstruct itself into the projection of that, along with the idea that mysteriously the earth is a very powerful thing, and it is just you, and it's everybody. So it can't just be you. There's only one here, but there's billions and billions of parts of it, consciousness, that are unique to it. And knowing that more than manifesting a particular thing, this is about you creating a relationship to the flow of your life where you can intend and let go, and then take what's actually in the physical world and use it to your advantage, whatever it is, whatever situation is difficult, whatever situation is hard to be in, to not be looking at those things thinking, well, that's not my vision, but to look at them with this mysterious understanding that I'm creating this. I may not know exactly why, but there's an advantage here. And even if this is a far out example for your extreme mind, but even if there were a nuclear war, the advantage of a human being able to maintain the I am through such an ordeal, it would seem like a cruel test. But after the planet was depopulated, it'd begin again. Death and birth. And those of you who have been through, which is all of you sitting here, Atlantis and the destruction of that, you have that muscle memory, and that muscle memory helps you go a little bit farther to wanting to let go and experiment, because you don't really want to do that again. We could create that, but let's choose not to. Let's not resist it with our fear, although there's a lot of emotion around it. Let's use it to say, yeah, we could create that. Definitely could create that. We're not going to resist the reality that we could create that, but let's choose not to. Let's pull on all the power that we have, whatever it is, mysteriously. We don't have to prove that it's going to work. We just have to pull on it. That deep compassion, that many lifetimes of all the wisdom that we have, all that inside us, and shoot for a miracle, what's best for the good of the whole, and then let go and be in your I am and feel the mysterious, magical creation of the miracle of life.
Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you.
Well, we're going to close the channel first by saying thank you so much for your conversations, for your allegiance to each other, for your willingness to come together and explore these topics, because they influence all of you. All of you who are listening to this are strengthened in your own self to be fuller, deeper, richer people, and understand that humanity is it's a tough place sometimes, but you have more than enough to transform your own lives, to live fully and deeply in that mystery, and thereby changing the course of the entire human species. So again, our honor always to come and be able to talk with you in this way. And we're just going to go on this week and watch and be very much amazed. Namaste.